morning, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm back in the game today. I'm feeling slightly more... No, I'm feeling completely normal today. And we have just had breaking news from The Athletic about Manchester United agreeing a deal with West Ham for Harry Maguire. It literally broke about 90 seconds, 2 minutes ago. Sod knows. I'm going to run through the story that's just broken for you. We'll speak about McTominay as well. We'll speak about Fred. I've updated the whole board. We've got new posters on the wall. I thought we'll go for Kane and a Ten Hag combo. Just some moody, bearded men. But good morning to everyone. How are we all doing? It's going to be an interesting show, this one. Harry Maguire and the future of Harry Maguire has been, in my opinion, probably the single most important exit that I think needed to happen. Probably the second most important behind David De Gea. That was my personal opinion. Everyone's going down there. Oh, 11:05's the new... Like, seriously, I was ready to go, and the story broke on The Athletic. Stop complaining in the comments, people. I've nibbled on that one. Sorry. But who's down here in the comments from the gang, the member gang? Good morning to everyone. Robert, you're there. Brian, Daz, the Biker Boy, Scott, Matt, Abiyomi, Robert, you're there. John, Jordan, Amy, Edison. We've got Nick, Kev. We've got Andrew. You think I'm making this up? I'm not. These are just all... You're all down here in the comments. Alex, I can see you there. Josh, you're there as always. Carl, or T, and I'm sure you're there. Let's pull this up. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anything from the community. It's going to be a busy show this morning. You can see, wow, man, look at that. I'm gonna jump in straight away as well. I feel this I don't know what to call it. Just this habit of this community to generously give. I've given 5 now because we've had, who is that? That's Nathan, Stu, and Shax. Between you have gifted 20 memberships. There's another 5 from me. I'll tell you what, maybe everyone's got a big smile on their face because that's the Harry Maguire exit gong. It's just been renamed for today. We need to speak about this. As I said, there's a lot of energy coming in. Normally, the start of the show, it's boring, blah, blah, blah. The start of this show, we're full of energy because this was, this is the transfer that I think was a necessity this summer. I'm really hot. I shouldn't have put this jacket on. Let me put that fan up. Woo! It's getting hot in here. Let me open the window as well. Right. After that absolutely abysmal intro to the show in terms of how formal it was, let me run through the article that has just broken from Laurie Whitwell on Harry Maguire. As I said, this was released about 30 seconds before I was supposed to go live. So we've timed it very well there. This is brand new breaking news. West Ham have agreed a £30 million deal for Harry Maguire with Manchester United. Let's refresh this and see, make sure we've got the most up to date. West Ham have reached an agreement to sign Harry Maguire. The Athletic reported on Monday that the London club had offered £30 million for Maguire, and now that sum has been accepted. David Moyes' side of seeking reinforcements after selling Declan Rice. We know that. The Athletic reported that Maguire, whose contract runs until 2025, hoped to stay and fight for his place. But that's not the case. We've got confirmation here that Man United have agreed 30 million, right? What do you think about that? Do you think that's a fair price for Maguire? If we go over here to the board, I've got Maguire down as 30 to 35. I've always maintained, throughout this entire summer, I did the video yesterday where I looked at what could possibly still be happening at Manchester United this summer. And there is so much there. There's 7 different ones down there. We've got Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Bailly, Henderson, Van der Beek, and Williams. That's 7 transfers, exits that I think can reasonably be expected. Let's go down here and we see what you're saying. 35 would have been a good deal. Just move him on, someone else says. Fair price, what I expected, 30 at least in this market. I think 30, in my opinion, was the minimum. 30 million was the minimum for Harry Maguire in this market. Now, we've obviously got our own preconceptions and our memories of Harry Maguire. And the overwhelming majority of Manchester United fans feel that the right time for Maguire to move on is now. 30 million for Maguire. I think 35, 40 would have been fairer. But we also overpaid for him in the first place, right? Realistically, we probably overpaid by about 20 mil-ish. Was that the summer after Liverpool signed Van Dijk? I don't know if it was. But we certainly overpaid for him. However, you've got to remember as well that Maguire being on our books for another season would have cost Manchester United another 10 million in wages. T, you're saying it's way too cheap, a 60 mil loss. No, we didn't pay 90 mil for him. We paid 80 mil for him. We overpaid by a lot. I think West Ham have probably got... I think Maguire's going to go and be a very, very good player for West Ham. Really genuinely think he will. I think when he goes to West Ham, you're going to see a lot more of the England version of Maguire than the United version of Maguire that we got used to seeing. And that player is a good defender. Do not be surprised if Maguire ends up becoming the new captain of West Ham. David Moyes has really pushed for him. Don't want to hear a bad word against David Moyes ever again. Now, look, I do. I don't want to speak about what David Moyes did at Manchester United. But the fact that United now have agreed that 30 million transfer probably indicates that there's probably a little bit more up front. Maybe it's not really to do with add-ons. Is that just 30 mil as an upfront package? Or is that 20 mil plus 10 mil add-ons? I suppose we'll get a little bit more information as it comes out. But it's just because this is breaking news as it stands. And my God, man, this community, look at this. Alex and Mo, you've gifted 5 memberships each, but Shepo and Mania, you've both gifted 10. It is an absolute party in here today. And I tell you what, I can't wait for the party on this channel with this community when we get confirmation about the Glazers leaving. Or at the very least, rescinding control of our club. I need a bigger gong. We need a bigger gong. Man, it's nice to feel better today. Yesterday, my shades on. I was feeling good. Jonathan is saying no point having add-ons with Maguire. I suppose there's one thing hey, I can't be a hypocrite here because I have done, if I remember correctly, probably about 4 or 5 videos that kind of grew in how angry I was towards Harry Maguire. I remember the first one was like, we need to talk about Harry Maguire. The next one was called up, we need to talk about Captain Harry Maguire. And then just progressively, my feelings towards Maguire just got more and more, yeah, as I said, angry. That thing that will always stick in a lot of people's heads was him saying that he had nothing to prove. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made a massive mistake giving him the armband when he came in. He thought that would be something that helped Harry Maguire. Instead, it was something that hindered Harry Maguire. The burden of being Manchester United captain was something that weighed Maguire down rather than being something that, you know, boosted him and made him a better player. But Maguire, the thing I found strange about this whole Maguire thing this summer was kind of the lack of desire to push for it from the Maguire side of things. Like even up until last week, it seemed that Maguire was just really happy to stay at Manchester United to compete for his place. Even though he'd had the captaincy taken away from him, he was 4th choice centre-back. And yeah, his words, not mine. He had nothing to prove. But there was no real push for him to leave from his side of things. It's odd. It was odd and it's weird. As I said, he's going to go to West Ham. And I guarantee he's going to be a very good player. I guarantee. Yeah, no, I will. I guarantee he'll be a very good player. I think West Ham have made a good signing there. And he'll probably go on to have a decent few years with West Ham. Sod knows what he does, as long as he comes back to United and he gets a little assist for us. Let me see what else you're saying down here. There's loads and loads of comments flying in. Look, if you're new to United People's TV, it's first 10 minutes of the show. It's busy and there's a bit of excitement because we've just got the breaking news from The Athletic that Manchester United have agreed that deal. 30 million for Harry Maguire. We had it on the board here. 30 to 35 mil. There it is there. And it's gone for 30 mil. I think that's a little bit under, but realistically, we overpaid massively. So can't think about that. And what you're saying, Dan, there's a comment there. I'll be generous and say that the start of play made him look much worse. That season where, what was it? Was that a Europa League season? The season that was 2020, Euro 2020, when he went to the Euros and ended up having a fantastic. I think he went injured, but that season I think he played pretty well. I stand by the fact that if Maguire had stayed at United this season, he probably would have looked like a better centre back. But it's all done. It's done, and well, it's not done. Right? It's not completely done, but the deal has been agreed. Right? It's just United are acting like a big club this summer, ladies and gents. Really, genuinely, we are. Like we go to this board now, and we have a quick look. We've got. Let's get a pen. There we go. Little lesson. We've got our three main signings here of Hojlund, Onana, and Mount. All three of them done before we've kicked a ball in the Premier League. Good. De Gea's left on a free. That was a harsh decision, but it was the right decision. We've got Elanga's left. Telles has left. All these other players have left. All their loans have expired. Maguire's now leaving as well. There is genuinely a possibility that McTominay leaves, Fred leaves, Bailly leaves, Henderson leaves, Van der Beek leaves, Williams leaves. We're already in initial talks to maybe sign Todibo, which I did last night in the full story. And then depending on what happens with Fred and Van der Beek, you could get Amrabat in as well. So we could end this summer with 5 new signings, 8 or 9 first-team squad players who didn't really have a future at the club being sold. I mean, come on. Devo, you're saying Ten Hag running the club properly behind the scenes. Of course, it all comes from the top, which is exactly why we need new owners. But, man, this is good. Harry Kane, someone says down there, geez, look, I'll speak about Harry Kane in a little bit, but I think we can all get a little bit, we're all getting a little bit excited in the idea that Harry Kane, but West Ham, right? West Ham is certainly set for probably the busiest last few weeks of this transfer window. They're trying to sign Ward-Prowse. News has broken as well that Lucas Paqueta is wanted by Pep Guardiola at Man City. So maybe you'll see Paqueta leaving for 70 mil, as well as Declan Rice going to Arsenal. Then they sign Ward-Prowse. Now, the McTominay situation, let's find the latest. The latest on that is... Well, I had it up. I think I accidentally closed it because I got excited with the whole Maguire situation. The latest on the McTominay situation is that there isn't an update. Man United want somewhere in the region of 40 to 45 million for McTominay. 30 million was obviously the agreement and the compromise that we found with Maguire. And that deal is now agreed, which has been confirmed by Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic. And I think over here, let's have a look. Let's see if there's any more updates. Because this literally broke just as before we went live. It's kind of fun when this sort of stuff happens. There we go. Right, Fabrizio's waded in. Let's see what Fabrizio's saying. There we go. He's confirming what Laurie Whitwell confirmed here. West Ham have reached an agreement in principle. Let's go full screen. With Manchester United for Harry Maguire on a 30 mil fee. The verbal agreement is subject to final key points on deal structure. The verbal agreement is subject to final key points on deal structure. Still under discussion, but fee now agreed. Really weirdly worded. Personal terms to be discussed soon. I wonder if the personal terms will be an issue. You kind of expect at this point that they wouldn't be. But Maguire's wage, we've been told all summer, right? Maguire's wages have always been an issue because he got a big pay rise because Man United got back into the Champions League. Yeah. Let's see what else. Lots of you are telling me to keep an eye on it. It seems like it's a busy old morning. Man. Let's have a look. West Ham have agreed a deal to sign James Ward-Prowse from Southampton. I wonder what that means. Right. Let's go over here. What does this mean for... I mean... James Ward-Prowse and Scott McTominay, not particularly similar midfielders. This is Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian saying that West Ham have agreed a deal to sign James Ward-Prowse. And that's the same morning West Ham agreeing deals to sign James Ward-Prowse and Harry Maguire. What does that mean for Scott McTominay? Now, I'll be totally honest, right? And I really, truly mean this. All these names on this board, Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Bailly, Henderson, Van der Beek, and Williams. If there was one player I wouldn't mind Manchester United keeping, it's Scott McTominay. Of all the players, I want Manchester. Maguire, he's leaving. I don't think Man United should be keeping Fred. We've got Mason Mount. Bai hasn't been a first-team player for a long time. Henderson, I've been wanting him to leave for a long time. Van der Beek, you know what I feel about Donny. I think he deserves to leave elsewhere, restart his career. And Williams, no chance. So of all of those, I'm not going to be upset if Scott McTominay stays. However, it was always the point that if the right offer came in for Scott McTominay, which is 40 to 45 million, then we would sell him. But if we don't get that in, Scott McTominay will not be a bad player for Manchester United next season. He won't be. The most important of those two to move on this summer was Harry Maguire. And we've got confirmation of that. Wow, that's got to be one of the wildest starts to the show we've had in a long time. First 15 minutes, absolute chaos. Let me see what else is being said down here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey, look, if you're new to the channel and you're joining in, please would you consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing. Join the community. It really is the best community, well, best United community in the world. We've got a few new members here. We've got Mole Dooney. Bob, you rejoined. Double bobbing? Is that a thing? Well, I just made it up. A couple of super chats. Let me read these out. Nathan, how you doing, buddy? Giving him the armband was short-sighted, made this whole process more difficult. Gave the lad a false sense that he is good enough for the club. Yeah, it was understood the logic of it by Solskjaer, but it was a swing and a miss. It was like certain things that managers do. It was a poor decision to give a player the captaincy of a club when he hadn't kicked a ball, had he? And he just became captain of Manchester United. It's like, that's a prestigious... No, that shouldn't be how it happens. Mark, how you doing? You're saying extra £30 million to spend. Fred and Van der Beek need to leave. Striking department still looks weak. We can reinforce more in this area. Well, of course, we'd all love Harry Kane, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. I will be speaking about Harry Kane a little bit. And there's a few of you asking about Mason Greenwood, and I will be speaking about Mason Greenwood because the official statement from Manchester United on Mason Greenwood really should be coming sooner rather than later. But look, that's what I mean. You can see it down there. Maguire exit latest and Todibo talks begin. I didn't have time to update that one with the fee being agreed. But let's talk about who his replacement could well be, because Manchester United we're in preliminary talks over Todibo. Now, the reason that we are in preliminary talks was because Manchester United were preparing for this. So that's working, as being proactive rather than reactive. Now, I did this video yesterday. If you can help everyone in the comments. In fact, let me try and find it. I can probably find it here. 1 second here. I will share the link for you to the Todibo full story. I covered it last night because I knew that things are going to be accelerating very, very fast. I think I chose my 4 days off pretty wisely because the Hojlund announcement everything went a little bit quiet, but they've loaded the shotgun now and it's all going a bit fast. But Todibo, we had confirmation yesterday that Manchester United had already held initial preliminary conversations. That's effectively just picking up the fact. Look, right, lads, is he still for sale? Well, sod knows how the conversations went. They probably didn't whistle down the phone to them. Let's be totally honest. But United are making moves now. This one really on paper looks relatively simple because the fees for Maguire and Todibo, they're not going to be too dissimilar. Todibo, I think initially when Fabrizio Romano said about Todibo being a potential target for United and Newcastle, 45 million euros was the price linked with him, which isn't too far off, right? 30 million pounds, what's that, 35 million euros? Something like that. I have no idea what the exchange rate is these days. Euros, just under. So what's 45 million euros? 45 million euros in pounds, 38.7 mil sterling. So that means that we could sell Maguire and bring Todibo in for less than 10 million net. And Manchester United will have a significantly better profiled centre-back for Ten Hag's system. Spence there with a super chat. I remember this, man. I'm not looking back like massively fondly, but Maguire wasn't wasn't. Was it Greece? Do you think it was Greece? When he came back from that, when Solskjaer backed him, he was held in jail overnight, wasn't he? He was held in a cell. He came out. I think, isn't he going back to Mykonos to have, I swear he's got to go back to Mykonos for something. He's going back in court. Sod knows. But yeah, it kind of was like the beginning of the downfall, wasn't it? At the start, he was pretty decent, but he was never an £80 million centre-back. Really. He was never an £80 million centre-back. Maybe this man will be. Todibo. I don't think he will be, right? Todibo is being brought in effectively to add competition to the spot for Raphael Varane. He's certainly a right-sided centre-back. It effectively means that Erik ten Hag will be looking at his squad and going, right, okay, so we've got Lisandro Martinez and then we've got Victor Lindelof. That's my two choices at left centre-back. And if I need to, we've got Luke Shaw, who can come in as an auxiliary third choice. Or maybe even Luke Shaw will just play there. God knows. But he's got three options there at left centre-back. Right centre-back, he's got Varane. And if he was to come in, Todibo. And maybe you can, I don't know, you can, no, there's not really anybody else you could maybe if you want to go to the youth teams. But that will give United two options, two really reliable, decent options as centre-back. Well, I might say, as left centre-back and right centre-back. And that's what you want and that's what you need. So let's see how this one develops, okay? So we've got the deal agreed for Harry Maguire. Big news. Man United are already in preliminary talks over a deal for Todibo. Let's see how that accelerates over the next 24, 48 hours. But I don't particularly see why this would slow down. Stephen, you just gifted a membership. I see you up there. Marcin, you've got one. Very nice. Very nice. YouTube's misbehaving again. I hope it isn't. It's not my fault. It certainly isn't my fault. My internet is prime. I've got fiber optic. It's here. It's good. It's working on Facebook. But look, there are so many things that I need to speak about today. We got stuck in that at the start of it. If I can ask one more time, I always ask a few times during the show, drop a like on the videos, ladies and gents. So many people just watch it and they just get in the habit of watching it and not doing anything because they're just enjoying it. Or maybe they're not enjoying it. Let me see what else is being said here. Bam. That was busy. Woo. Let's move on, right? Let's move on to... Actually, I'll go down to the comments, see what you're saying. Robert, you're saying it's so good to see what Ten Hag is doing. You can see the progression with each deal, which is improving the squad. Yeah. And look how much more can still happen, man. Everyone said, oh, you're going to need a bigger board because we all thought that we were going to get so many more players linked. The reason we're going to need a bigger board is probably because of how many players are going to leave our club and how many players we're going to sign. So we do need a bigger board, but probably for the wrong reasons why you all thought so. Let me see. Apparently, Sky Sports saying something slightly different about Harry Maguire. Let's have a look. Let's run through this as the final little article on the Maguire situation. And then we'll move on and we'll speak about Fred. We'll speak about Bailly and all the other news. West Ham have an agreement in principle with Manchester United to sign Harry Maguire in a deal worth in the region of 30 mil. Personal terms are not expected to be a problem. There is still work to do on the details of his exit. West Ham are cautiously optimistic about completing the signing. Meanwhile, West Ham have dismissed an initial approach for Lucas Paqueta. Look at that. So they've agreed. What was that? They've agreed a deal to sign. West Ham are having the morning of mornings. Imagine one of these live shows as a West Ham fan. You've agreed a deal to sign Harry Maguire. You've rejected an advance for Lucas Paqueta. And you've agreed a deal to sign James Ward-Prowse all in the same morning. That's a madness. Seeing what else being said down here. On Monday, United rejected a 30 mil bid for Scott McTominay. United, who value him at closer to 45 mil, are happy to keep him, but he's also viewed as the biggest sale they can make this summer. And you know, one thing that's really quite important to understand about McTominay, right? I highlight this. As much as McTominay is a player there who, as I said, I'll go back to the ball one more time. Of all the players on that list there, McTominay is the one I would be fine with keeping. But because of FFP, McTominay is an academy product. That means that there's no amortization cost of McTominay on the books, whereas there is with Maguire. We signed Maguire for 80 mil. We signed him, on a 5-year contract? That means 80 mil gets split over 5 years. You do the maths. I don't need to. McTominay is an academy product. If we were to sell him for 40 mil, it's homegrown, which means that goes straight into pure profit into Manchester United's FFB books, which means that not only will McTominay be the biggest sale that we could make this summer in terms of how much we get for him, it would also have significantly the biggest impact on our FFP. And that's certainly something that United will consider, that Erik Ten Hag will consider. And look, if he does go, that's a massive, massive positive of the deal itself. Let me go over here, make sure I'm not missing anything. It is absolutely popping down here in the community this morning. Mark, you've just gifted another membership. Invest Talks, you've got it. Lucky chap. Or lady, not quite sure. What else are you saying down here? Given how United are developing, Scott may just decide he wants to move on anyway. I don't know. I think McTominay would absolutely want to stay and fight for his place. Or you're saying it's mad if we value Scott at 45 mil. No, I don't think it is. I genuinely do not think it is. If you look at the market, what was a comparable one? Conor Gallagher. Didn't West Ham... No, I swear Chelsea rejected an advance from West Ham for Conor Gallagher for like 50 mil. 45, 50 mil. McTominay is a 40 to 45 mil player. Easily. In the same way I constantly argued that Maguire, at an absolute minimum, was a 30 mil player. I was right on that one. Invest Talks as a man. There you go. But look, let's find out what goes on with the Scott McTominay situation. But there's advances on the other exits that could be happening. Dharma Sheth from Sky Sports saying that Fulham are looking like they're going to be going back in for him. Now, Fred, I think the only confirmation we've had when it comes to a bid for Fred was from Galatasaray, I think, for somewhere between like 5 and 10 mil. It was paltry. He's definitely worth more than that. I think Fred's worth somewhere. I've got him on the board here. I've got Fred down as somewhere in the region of 10 to 20 million. 10 to 20 million because he's 30. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Otherwise, Fred would be worth more. And I've said this all along. Fred would be a good signing for about half of the Premier League. He'd be a good squad player for at least 10 clubs in the Premier League. Fulham, I think it would be good. Fulham is one of them. And there are other ones that he will be suited for too. But I think he should be worth somewhere in the region of 10 to 20 mil. Fulham, like they're going back in for him. He's obviously been linked with Saudi Arabia too. Let's find out. But Fabrizio Romano has reiterated on more than one occasion that Fred is 100% leaving. 1 ton, you're saying Fred's easily 20 mil. As I said, it's because of his age in the contract. He's only got 1 year left on his contract and he's 30. And Fred is that hyper-energetic style of midfielder. So age catches up with players like that quicker. Like Harry Kane might be 30, but pace has never been part of his game. So he'll be doing what Harry Kane does for a lot longer. But yeah, I think Fred is somewhere within 10 to 20. And we're hearing Bai being linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. Someone in the comments there linking him with a move to Besiktas. I think he's been linked with other Turkish teams too. Not quite sure on that. Either way, Bai should be leaving this summer. And I'm putting Eric Bai in the same category as Brandon Williams, in the idea he's worth somewhere in the region of 5 million. There's not really a future of him at Manchester United. It's in his own interest as a footballer for his career to leave. And the same goes for Williams. And that's what I mean when I look at here. And Van der Beek one's all going to be quiet on the Western Front. Henderson one, it's a bit odd. Of all the sales, I thought the absolute banker that would happen without really any problems was Dean Henderson. I did not expect the Dean Henderson one to really take this long. Stephen is saying Fred would suit a promoted team like Luton. Who is it that just joined them? They got Tahith Chong. I think Hannibal was being linked with a loan move to there, and I thought that would be a very good loan move for Hannibal. I'd like Hannibal to be loaned out for a full season to the Premier League if he is to be loaned out. People are talking about buy to Saudi, buy to Turkey. It's buy somewhere, just not Manchester United. If Fred goes to 20 mil, you can't tell me Scott is worth double Fred's value. Come on, all. Fred is 30. Scott is 26. You can do the maths. I'm not saying that McTominay is twice the player that Fred is, but you look at the length of a contract, you look at the age of a player, they're all tangibles that change the value of individuals in football. McTominay is worth 40 mil, and I won't hear otherwise. And that's exactly why Manchester United have rejected a 30 mil bid for Scott McTominay. Point proven. Right. All of this excitement and news and idea. Look, I did that video yesterday, right? Where I looked at Manchester United's transfers that could happen between now and the end of the summer. And there was a lot, right? There was a lot. Nick, nice to see you joining there as a member, dude. Let me try and give you a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from. Just leave another comment. I looked at all the transfers that could possibly happen. I'm saying if all these happen, right, then Man United could probably raise around about 150 million from sales this summer. And if these happened, right, and we signed Todibo and Amrabat, then that would still leave Manchester United's net spend at around 70 million. And you're thinking, well, weren't we told that our budget this summer was somewhere in the region of 120 to 150 million? We were told that. Now, I'm going to put a poll question up, which I'm really interested to know the answer to, right? Which would you prefer? You can only choose one of these, right? Because both of them cannot happen. Which would you prefer United signed? You can only choose one. Let me try that. I'm going to put it down there, and I'm going to speak about it now, right? Harry Kane. Of course, we know full well what's going on with Harry Kane and Bayern Munich. They are apparently set to go back in with another bid for £95 million for Harry Kane. And you would imagine that Spurs would accept that, right? There's no way that Spurs are going to let a £95 million player leave for free this season after. So my question to you is this. Look at the poll. Manchester United, if we sell all these players correctly here, we will have the budget, in my opinion, we'd have the money to go and get Harry Kane. But we'd also have the money to go out and sign Todibo and Amrabat. Now, I don't think, but all three of them can't happen, right? Let's just be realistic. All three of them can't happen. So which would you prefer? Would you prefer, I apologize to anyone on Facebook because I can only do these in one place at this particular moment in time. Would you prefer United went out and spent all that money just to sign Harry Kane? Or would you prefer Manchester United went out and used that money to go out and sign Amrabat and Todibo? Because they're two very different things, right? If I'm being totally honest, I'm looking at Harry Kane and I'm thinking, United surely are challenging for the Premier League if we sign Harry Kane. On the flip side, you look at Todibo and Amrabat and you'd say, well, Manchester United's squad would be far stronger. There'd be far less risk in, an injury to Casemiro or an injury to Varane, which could derail the season. Look, we could go and sign all that money on Harry Kane, and then Varane goes and does his ACL, and we haven't got a centre back, and we're a crap at the back. And even though we've got Harry Kane, we're not defensively very sound. I don't know. I find that like a really interesting debate because I think there's logic for both sides of things. There's no point saying who would you rather sign, Harry Kane or Gonzalo Ramos. I know that Gonzalo Ramos has joined PSG, but you get the point. There's an obvious answer. Whereas this one, I think there's Chris. That's what I mean. I'm going to go down and read some of your comments down here. We've got Chris on Facebook. You're saying we'll be stronger in the long run if we got Todibo and Amrabat. Bob, you're saying we should go for the depth in this case. We have been lacking there. A smart thing to do would be Amrabat and Todibo. Kane will get 30+ goals, says Mark. Todibo and Amrabat are a couple of bench warmers, so it's a no-brainer for me. SK, you're saying, Sam, that some needed to buy Kane. United can buy a backup striker alongside Amrabat and Todibo. I suppose that is technically a possibility. I don't really know what other strikers are available in the market for that price that would come in, and it's kind of a hard position to buy. Like someone who's good enough to start for Man United, but he isn't good enough that they're going to be angry if they're not starting every week for United. Harry Kane's wages is massive, Sam. People seem to forget his wages. Mate, we just got Ronaldo's wages off the book. We've just got David De Gea's wages off the book. We're about to get Harry Maguire's wages off the book. I swear to God, I need to do a video on how many wages we've got off the book. Wages we've got off the books, because there's a lot. So the wages aren't particularly an issue. Now I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying in the poll. Look at that. 900 votes in the first 3 minutes. And I'm very surprised about that, actually. Because 3/4 of you have gone for Todibo and Amrabat. 3/4 of you have gone for on paper, what would be the least risky choice. Some might argue the more logical and smarter choice for building the squad rather than the individual. But Harry Kane, man. It's Harry Kane. Harry Kane. I don't know. I think what that poll is like head versus heart, isn't it? Because your head is saying, I mean, you're going to get a backup choice for Varane, and you're going to get an alternative for Casemiro, two positions which might derail United's season if they get injuries. So your head says that, but then your heart says, yeah, but it's Harry Kane. As a proper head versus heart decision. I think someone sent a super chat. Let me read this out. Darius, you sent a super chat earlier, but you didn't actually say anything, buddy. Connor, thank you very much, dude, for the love. I love the community. By the way, as I said, I can't remember the name of the lad who came to see me at Wilderness, but you didn't reach out to me with a picture of me and you. So I can't get your boy Matteo a shirt. I'll give you one more opportunity. If you're listening today, make sure you slide into my DMs on Instagram or Twitter. Send me that photo and I can get you one sorted. I think it'll be a cool thing for me to do. Captain, you're saying 100% Amrabat and Todibo, future rather than for now. Lauren, you're saying when you said it, I said centre-back and midfielder, then thought about the Van Persie effect. That's what I mean. It really is a heart versus head decision. Alex, are you asking about whether I'm going to talk about the Hojlund injury? And I will. That's going to be coming next. One more look at the poll. Wow, 3/4 of you have gone for head. Well, let's see what happens. I don't personally think we're going to be going out for Kane. And I think logically I'd go for Todibo and Amrabat, but it's Harry Kane, man. It's Harry Kane. And you're saying goals win games, end of. Harry Kane is your choice. And Harry Kane is only 25% of you, actually. Only 25% of you. Mark, you're saying buy Kane if we have a chance at a title this year. Why not? If not, just buy Amrabat and save the rest for the next transfer window. Well, I think if we did sign Kane, I think we would be title contenders. But of course, we've signed Hojlund, who's going to be, I don't know whether he's going to be starting every week, but he's going to be our main striker next season or this season. We had this story that came out yesterday from, I think it was Matt Hughes for the Daily Mail. We all know that the Hojlund deal, or the announcement of it, was delayed a little bit. And we were like, what's going on? So the suggestion here is that there were concerns with his medical to do with a stress response hotspot in his back. Not that he's got a stress fracture. That's what, remember, Marcus Rashford had that. A stress fracture in his back, carried it the whole season, then had to do it in the off-season. Now, the suggestion is that there are concerns that Hojlund will not be able to play more than one game per week for a good while. Now, there's been an update from The Athletic, from Laurie Whitwell, and we'll run through this. And the suggestion is this. There's more detailed information in this. Hojlund could make his debut against Arsenal after a minor back injury. All right. Manchester United are targeting their trip to Arsenal as a potential debut date for Hojlund. He signed for the club with a minor back injury, which requires a few weeks of rehab. He is on an individual training program. He was running on grass at Carrington on Tuesday, and staff hope he will be fit for the visit to the Emirates in less than a month. So that there is the update on Hojlund, on his injury. Now, I'm somewhat concerned, but Manchester United won't go out and sign a £70 million player who's got a broken back. All right. Debut goal like Anthony. Yeah, yes, please. That'd be lovely. And a debut goal at the Emirates would be fantastic. Would be absolutely fantastic. But Hojlund will not be making his debut against Wolves, and it looks like he won't be making his debut away at Spurs. But it's a 38-game season. If we miss him for the first couple, and it means that he can recover and recuperate, comes in full strength, then fine. We can live with that, right? It's not going to be the end of the world. So, yeah, there was a lot of people that were kind of crapping themselves yesterday when this story came out. I wanted to wait until there was a little bit more information. And I think this from Laurie Whitwell and from The Athletic kind of allays those fears a little bit. It's only a minor injury. He'll be fine after a couple of weeks rehab. And then we will see him make his debut. And it's a ploy to make other teams dismiss Hojlund. Yeah, Hojlund's just going to come out in a mask against Wolves. Wolves with a new manager, by the way, which I will speak about in a little bit. There's a super chat there from Nick. Thank you very much, Nick. What are you saying, sir? Hi, Sam. There's rumours starting to circulate, although nothing official, that if Greenwood is staying, him and his partner will be doing an interview together and wouldn't feature until potentially Christmas. I will be speaking about, well, in fact, it was the actual next topic of conversation, Mason Greenwood. You know full well that I had a bit of a policy on this channel, and the mods held it well. So thank you very much for that, mods. What I would ask all the mods to do now is, people, you can talk about Mason Greenwood, but just don't be a dick, right? If you want to come out and start throwing the words, oh, he's innocent, oh, he's not guilty, then you are going to get your comments blocked because you are just lighting. We can have a conversation about what Manchester United's decision is going to be, and that's what this week is. We've always been told that United are going to make like a public statement on the Greenwood situation before the season starts. So it's Wednesday now. We play Wolves on Monday. I can't imagine that United are going to do that announcement on Friday and interrupt Ten Hag's press conference. I don't think that they will want him to be questioned about it in that press conference. So let's find out about it. The suggestion here from Samuel Luckhurst and the Manchester Evening News, and I'll be quite honest, when it comes to sort of internal, when it comes to sort of inside information from the club, Samuel Luckhurst is quite strong. He's saying that United are actually receiving training data. So maybe that would be he's wearing, you know, one of the, I don't know what it's called. So the GPS gives you the tracking data of how many sprints, X, Y, Z. So Manchester United will be knowing how Mason Greenwood is getting on in training. All we're doing is waiting for the statement. And once the statement is released, I will release a video on the channel. And that's, Nick, you've sent in your super chat there. I won't go into any speculation like that. And I've avoided all speculation of anything to do with Greenwood ever since the beginning of it. Because if you don't understand law, media law, then, well, don't go do some research because it's boring as hell. But just trust me on that one. Even though now it's been dropped by the CPS because the charges have been dropped, I'm going to wait until this statement comes out before I say anything else on the topic. I say that, you already know what my opinion is, but let's find out. All right, now we're moving on from Mason Greenwood, and we're moving into, wow, something altogether more positive, I would say. This is pretty cool. This might seem somewhat insignificant to some people, but in my opinion, I would say it's pretty significant. So, Man United, before games at Old Trafford, for years, I think even under Fergie, actually, we always stayed at the Lowry, which is a hotel in Manchester. Is it Deansgate? I think it's in Deansgate. Stayed at the Lowry, got a coach from there to Old Trafford, and that's what happened. Now, I don't know whether this happened from a home game last season, but I can't remember it being. Can anyone let me know? Was it last season, the season before? I think it was under Mourinho, when Man United were late to their own home game. Was that when they stayed at the Lowry and there was an absolute ton of traffic and then they couldn't get through and kickoff was delayed? Was that a home game? I think that was a home game, but I might be wrong. Anyway, what's gone on here is Erik ten Hag has pushed Manchester United to change a corporate lounge at Old Trafford into a players' lounge at Old Trafford. What that means now is that Manchester United's players arrive at Old Trafford like 4 hours before the game. And they've got this lounge. They can go in, chill out, get a massage, have some food. And what Ten Hag is trying to do is remove the variables. We go down here, right? United, I'll read through this article. I might even do my lunchtime video on it because I think it's quite important. United provided a temporary solution last season after Ten Hag made it clear he did not want to stay in the hotel before the games. He felt the traffic getting to the stadium, security concerns, the food on offer were variables that might impact performance. United handed over one of the lounges in response. United then spent 12 months figuring out how they could revamp the stadium to facilitate Ten Hag and make up for the lost income elsewhere. During the summer, that work's been completed on that tailored space where Ten Hag has a say on nutrition, players are able to relax, and United's manager can better deliver his pre-match instructions. So this is just another example of the meticulous nature of Erik ten Hag. He's talked about the importance of sleep, the importance of nutrition. Man United have got a new head chef in. I think 3 chefs went out with the team. I covered this already in the video. Went out with the team to USA so Man United could better control the food the players are eating. I think, who was it? Barcelona had a game out in America where they had to cancel it because they all got sick. Just bit by bit, Ten Hag is just controlling everything. Not in a sort of psychopathic sort of way. Like sociopathic? Anyway, he's not in that sort of sense, but he's, by removing this like 3% variable of, I don't know, ate a dodgy bit of bacon last night. Probably not bacon. Probably pasta or whatever it is. By removing that, you give yourself a slightly better chance of winning. Remove the traffic and the stress that maybe being late to a game would have. You give yourself another 2 to 3% chance of winning. All these small wins are just as important as the big wins of signing a new player like Hojlund. That's a big win, a new striker. Both of those things combined are what make title-winning teams. And that's what Ten Hag has been doing. Alex, you just sent in a super chat. What are you saying, sir? Godber man, you're saying, Sam, you sound surprised that most of us are sensible. I actually did sound very surprised about that. Sorry about that. Mo, you're saying Todibo got sent off 3 times last season. I think he got sent off after 9 seconds, didn't he? Woo. Alex, you're saying, Sam, Ten Hag this is similar to the masterstroke to swap the dugouts last season. Football first, commercial revenue second, which is a really important way to describe it there. And that's just the Ten Hag style. It is football first. It is commercial stuff second. On the pre-season tour, Manchester United was supposed to do 3 commercial days. Ten Hag got that reduced to 2 because he said, sod this. It's all about the football, not about how much money you can make. So Man United reduced it to 2 and they agreed with Erik ten Hag. I know that I really don't like comparisons with former players and former managers. So I think it's always better to just look at a manager and just understand his own legacy and player that they are trying to create. But this is where the parallels with Fergie will come in, and that controlling. Modern football is so much bigger and complicated than when Fergie was in as manager, that the idea of having one overseeing man in total control, it's not possible. You need to be able to delegate, right? So Ten Hag here, he's taking control of decisions, but he's still delegating to those people and trusting those people to do that job. He can't be the individual that's doing all the transfer work and doing all the scouting report and blah, blah, blah. Like Fergie was heavily involved in all of that. But Ten Hag is the ultimate decision maker at the club. And I think that's what's really, really starting to emerge. And it's significant. It really, really is. Oh, Jack, look at that, man. Jack's not only gifted 5 memberships once, he's gifted it twice. The double gong. The double gong. Big up to you, Jack. And Stuart. Well, you are called Jack Stewart, so I've called you both. But look, let's see what else, the other talking points I had on this show. Yes, we had this one here. Do you think that this is going to lead to a new manager bounce? You know, everyone's scared. New manager bounce, typical for United. So I took a look at the Athletic article because typically, right, when a manager gets sacked, typically anyway, the players have stopped playing for him. The football's turgid. It just seems like this is on a hard into nothing. He has to go. It's not the same with this Lopetegui situation. Because he's left before the season started and it's been kind of amicable. So I went and took a look here at the Athletic article where they said, look, this is what's actually happened. And this is what's gone on behind the scenes. His appointment was, he was the first choice at Wolves, but the situation deteriorated since November. Look, he lost trust in the chairman over the club's transfer budget. He wanted 4 new signings, but got none. He looked for another job. Unsanctioned interview caused issues behind the scenes, and he was described as prickly and unapproachable. So what I would say is it's not really a new manager bounce sort of vibe. First of all, it's the first game of the season. So how can you have a new manager bounce when you've not even bounced? It's the first game of the season. Second of all, it's not as if those players were angry and they all wanted Lopetegui out, right? It was more that he fell out with the ownership structure of Wolves. So I think that's what I would say about this concept of a new manager bounce and the fear of it. I don't think you've really got to worry about it too much. But it's interesting, I suppose. But Wolves, man, I've got Wolves. There is a chance that Wolves finish bottom. I know Sheffield United are probably going to finish bottom, and Luton are right down there too. But there is a chance that Wolves, I will probably put Wolves in a relegation zone. I'll be very surprised if they do not get relegated this season. I'll be so surprised. Oh, wow. Man. Brendan McNeil, you absolute icon. 20 memberships. 20. Did we reach, I haven't actually looked yesterday. Did we reach 6,000 likes on the old, no, I don't think, was that one? I think it was one before. Because I remember I did it again. Let's have a look. I've only got 3.7. 3.7. People, you don't want to get, I'll do it again some other time. But big up to you, Brendan. Jack Reynolds, you have been spamming about Ward-Prowse and West Ham the whole show. Why? They haven't just signed him. They've reached an agreement to sign him, which I've already covered earlier in the show. My God, what a busy morning, man. As I said, this is exactly why we have to do these shows. This is exactly why we've got to do these shows every single morning, because I've got no idea how I keep on top of all of this. And I suppose that's why you all tune in, and that's why you do enjoy it. Because if you didn't have this, sod knows how you keep up on all the news. But let's go back to the main story of the day, which is one of the biggest stories of this summer, in my opinion anyway. It really was something that needed to happen. And it's something that now has happened. Manchester United have agreed that deal with West Ham for Maguire. 30 million is the price. Personal terms are not expected to be a problem. When's West Ham's season opener? So look. Playing on Saturday? They play Saturday at 3 o'clock away at Bournemouth. So you think it's unlikely that Maguire's going to be in for that one. When do we play West Ham? Let's have a look. Man United's fixtures. This will be interesting. When could we possibly play against Harry Maguire? Play West Ham for a while, do we? Right, let's have a look. Let's pull this up. We play West Ham. Better. 23rd. Little Christmas present for Harry Maguire. Pumping him 4-0 at the London Stadium. Ooh, that'd be nice. That'd be very nice. Jordan Desmond is saying Kane in January on the cheap. Yeah, good luck with that. Remember that Kane can sign a pre-contract agreement with got pre-signed. Kane can sign a pre-contract agreement with Bayern Munich in January, but not with any Premier League club. That was really couldn't get out of my mouth. Matt Frost, you're saying you've got over 4,500 likes on Facebook. Well, we'll be giving the shirt away because I did say this. I'll go over to Facebook after this and I will choose someone in the comments on the Facebook video from yesterday and I'll be giving you a shirt. Last minute of the show. Is there anything you'd like to ask me? because I need to sit back a little bit. That was a wild show. That was a busy old morning show. Got all that redone, re-upped. I need to get a new... Sorry, Erik. I need to get a new shirt on the mannequin, a new mask on the mannequin as well. Harry Maguire. Yes. Man, we need him to leave. We need him to leave. Daniel's saying, where did you buy your jumper from? I can't remember. It's nice though, isn't it? It's a bit warm though. Ewald, you're saying, Sam, what festival did you attend over the weekend? I went to Wilderness Festival, which is in Oxfordshire in England. And it is a great festival. I've been there 3 times now. I would highly recommend anybody to go to Wilderness. It was Chemical Brothers, Christine and the Queens, and Fatboy Slim this year. And Fatboy Slim, genuinely, that's one of the best gigs I've ever seen at a festival. It's just turned 60 this week. Just turned 60. Shane, you're asking, do I play Fantasy Premier League? Yes, I do. Let me see if I can get the code up here. United People's TV. I think I can. And I will share this in the Telegram chat. Copy. I think that's it there. Is that it? There you go. I think that's it. So that's the link to the United People's TV Fantasy Premier League this year. There's going to be prizes. I'll announce the prizes before, hopefully by Friday. I still need to get the arms ready for the weekend. Oh, man, we've got some big stuff. I don't look 60. I actually look pretty fresh-faced, I think, given I didn't sleep much over the weekend. But big up to all of you. That was a big old show. 9th of August. We've still got 20 days left of the transfer window. The season kicks off in, 5 days? Whew. Busy. Big up to all of you. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Someone on Facebook, I'll be giving a shirt away to you for the video for yesterday. Big up to everybody. See you soon. Hold on here. Hold on here, people. I can't possibly leave after Brendan's just gifted 10 memberships. Brendan, you made me stop the outro. I don't miss that. Man, this community, honestly, it's the best one in the world. It is absolutely the best one in the world.